I think it's unfair, and I stated on my Facebook page, I think I commented to say, if people are not happy with Dave's mom's house, go and paint it. Go and help out. What's stopping you? Even the same PF councillor, you can go and help out. And hi guys, it's girl Elma Chams, also known as Gela Wapazed, girl from Zambia. If you're new to my YouTube channel, please subscribe so that each time I upload videos, you'll be notified that Gela Wapazed posts a video. Thank you so much for more than 93,000 subscribers. Na totela sana. In this video, I'll just be talking about Bowman Lusambo and his insensitivity towards the late Daev Zambia. Now, Bowman Lusambo is a very strong cadre who is now the Minister of Lusaka, and he was being interviewed on radio with regards to artists not being supported, and his response was pathetic in my view and very insensitive. So before I go any further, listen to this response by Bowman Lusambo.
That they can listen to our
so if
message.
You really respect musicians, can we empower them? Look at how lives are being lost. Let's look at what just transpired.
I was coming from Chilundo. As you might be aware, Chilundo is my district in Lusaka province. I witnessed what happened, and I can assure you that first of all, may the soul of the young talented musician rest in peace, but he was very careless on the road. Very careless. I witnessed whatever thing which happened. He was very careless. And don't drink and drive. Don't drink and drive. He was careless on the road. I saw what was going on there. He was very careless on the road. So for me, the musicians, they are being looked after. And for me as an individual, I've worked with almost every Zambian musician. I've worked with them, and I'm still working with them. And I respect them. I respect them because they are doing a good job.
So the people will just say, from the Copper Belt, why should they attend your mobilization?
Exactly. Uncle Zaki, as we speak.
Some of them will be like,
yes.
Okay, thanks a lot to K. Felix, who compiled that small short clip. Now, I was expecting Bowman Lusambo to speak according to humanity. And I don't think Bowman Lusambo has any form of humanity within himself. He's very insensitive. Bowman Lusambo has mocked people who live in the diaspora that all they do is clean toilets. He's a very big cadre, major cadre of PF, and all he does is bootlick the president of Zambia. And he has nothing, sensitive to say. He's never sensitive. Each time he speaks, he always just runs his mouth. A few weeks ago, he was talking about Kenneth Kaunda, who is the first founding president of Zambia. And he stated that the president of Zambia's children, then when he was in power, that they were down, they were sleeping. Why didn't they steal? They should have stolen money then. And I'm thinking, this is the father of the nation, regardless of what you think of him. You cannot insult him to that level. So he just runs his mouth anyhow. And I attended the funeral of Daev in Zambia. I shared videos here on my YouTube channel. And it was very emotional. The young people were there. Many fans, as you saw on my YouTube channel, were there watching and just, trying to see what's going on. And some of them were crying. majority were very heartbroken. They had printed their own t-shirts. And regardless of how someone dies, we don't have the audacity to speak about someone's death and their behavior just because we feel somebody should behave in a certain way. Now, Bowman Lusambo, as you listen to the audio, he states that Daev was careless and he saw the car and that's how come he died, and people should not drink and drive. He said he's on, but for me I felt it was a bit insensitive, especially when families are trying to mourn Daev and then he just comes out straight to the point like, oh, this and this. But there's a way in which you can speak with empathy, whereby you can say, oh, okay, oh, it's so sad. What I would just advise and urge road users is they should be careful. I think what we'll do as a government is try to put speed limits, and we'll have people that will be tested for alcohol. You try to use a certain language, but he just went like, boom, he was careless. And just because Daev was not a cadre does not warrant him all those kind of insults from PF. I mean, Daev chose a path of just being neutral, singing love songs. He didn't want to be a cadre. I mean, in Zambia, if you want to be a successful singer, just affiliate yourself to a political party and call yourself a musician, like the way JK sang that successful song Doing a Reverse, and then he's also sang another song, HH Mupenko Chance, and now he's saying he belongs to PF. He will always vote for PF. It's because he knows that's a current government, and that current government is what has been giving him opportunities to sing at different events. Even when the president travels to the US or wherever, he goes along with some Zambian musicians. So just because Daev was not that strong cadre that would sing Pawato and all those things does not warrant him those type of insults from Bowman, like the way Kings has stooped himself so low to being a cadre, from a gospel musician to being a cadre for PF, and the president has even bought him a Land Cruiser, and he feels he's already made it in life because he affiliates himself with the president. And that's not what we want. We want musicians, obviously, who are neutral, and those that can speak up, like B-Flow. They speak against gender-based violence, they speak about freedom of speech. Those type of arrangements is what we want to see continuously from our artists. But then when Bowman Lusambo comes out like that, I just feel it's because you didn't have a relationship with this person. You didn't know this person personally, because this person didn't come bootlicking to say he wanted to associate himself with PF, and that's the reason why you would say that. And during Dave's funeral, we had lots of cadres and PF, because Dave's mom lives just near by like a PF office. I don't know whether it's an office or it's a shed. They have an office near where his mom lives, and the councillor obviously took over the funeral and said he was going to support and help out here and there. So we had lots of cadres there. Of course, they're the current government, is their help. But for me, what I felt a lot of hypocrisy from PF. And I thought to myself, like, look, if this councillor has been aware that there's Daev who sings and his mom lives in that area, why didn't he support this musician? Why didn't he call for meetings to support this person? And then you only come in when the person is dead. And this is what I don't like to see. When we Africans pretend, when somebody is dead, that's when we want to show love. We want to show solidarity. We want to show all the efforts of, oh wow, this person was a powerful musician, so now we want to sponsor as a party. And I'm thinking to myself, you should have done this a long time ago. And the funeral was very emotional, where the bishop said our musicians need to be supported. And the bishop particularly said, if musicians were really supported, Daev wouldn't have died in a Vitz. And I kept on looking for a Vitz in Zambia, like, how does a Vitz look like? How does a Vitz look like? And I saw it's a small car. And I'm like, okay, the guy had a hit songs. If you, Bowman Lusambo, loved his music, or you say you really support musicians, how come he was using a Vitz? We have places like Tanzania where we've seen Diamond Platinum being given 4x4 by politicians. What's wrong with you as, government just helping out musicians with cars, houses? And there was another very insensitivity from the community of Zambians that went to Dave's mom's funeral, and all they did was mock the house. Oh, musicians, we thought you live comfortably, or you flash cars. But when they do those music videos, they didn't say they are rich. They do it for creativity. An artist should be creative. So if he creates a certain environment of love, he gives somebody flowers, the bedroom environment is beautiful and everything, he's driving a nice car, those things are hired. It doesn't mean that he said he is rich. No, he's just living up to the standard of music videos. Because if music videos don't meet a certain standard, then Trace, BET and all those companies, MTV, would never air those videos. So that doesn't mean he's rich, So people were mocking and saying all sorts of things and being insensitive. And when I visited the funeral house on the second day, I was surprised at, a certain hostility that we came across. It's because the family felt betrayed, that they had opened up their home for people to come and mourn Daev. And what did people do? They ended up talking about Dave's mom's house. It's this and it's that. And for me, I didn't see anything wrong. At the end of the day, the guy was only 25 years old. He just started his career, famously last year, 2019, his song came out, I think, around September, October. He hasn't even really made it yet in life. And then people had so much high expectations of Daev. They thought he was living in leisure. They thought he came from a rich family because he had this persona where he looked rich. He just knew how to carry himself, and his complexion, he looked very good. And then he associated himself with people who were affluent, obviously, and had a bit of money. And even himself, his dress code was beautiful. Even when he spoke, his English was nice. It was beautiful. He just decided to choose this path because he knew he had what it takes. And what happened to him is he never had that bigger breakthrough where you can see him driving expensive cars and living up to the standards of people. I think it's unfair, and I stated on my Facebook page, I think I commented to say, if people are not happy with Dave's mom's house, go and paint it. Go and help out. What's stopping you? Even the same PF councillor, you can go and help out and let the mother feel comfortable and feel loved by the Zambian people, because the son gave the Zambian people a beautiful talent. And since the Patriotic Front took over, the funeral expenses by supporting the funeral, I believe they can also support on this as well. So I felt a lot of hypocrisy from Bowman Lusambo when he stated, careless driving, drinking, and all sorts of things. And at the end of the day, as a minister of Lusaka, you need to educate these drivers or road users. You need to have meetings with musicians. Let them, feel the love and the belonging, sense of belonging to our country. And not when somebody dies, that's when everybody knows suddenly there is this type of person. So that's what I wanted to say. And I thought he was very insensitive to say that Daev was careless. I don't know what happened. Yes, for any road accident or car, it means somebody was speeding and lost control. But what we don't know is spiritual battles out there. We've heard of people who have been driving and suddenly they come across something in front of their car, and that makes people lose control. We've watched even Nigerian movies where that has been, shown. So we don't know what led Daev, to swerve and fall in a ditch. We don't know. And the most heartbreaking thing, obviously, as you're aware, is that 5 people in total lost their lives, and they were all young. And what Mr. Lusambo should have done better is to know who the victims were and attend the funerals as a minister of Lusaka, and then and also try to support all the families in one way or the other, and not just say, oh, the person was careless, the person was drink driving, I saw him on the road and this is what this person did. And at the end of the day, we don't need to shift blames. We don't know what led him to speed. We don't know. Only God knows. And at the end of the day, when anyone's time comes, it comes. So at the end of the day, let's be sensitive about Daev's death. So that's what I just wanted to comment on. I felt a bit, down, and I was not happy that, a home minister would just say you're careless, without using any kind of sensitivity. It's school year, guys. When we say it's good to go to school, it's very good, because then there's certain things that you wouldn't do when you are learning. You wouldn't just spill your mouth anyhow. And Bowman Lusambo is such an insensitive person. I don't even know how he became a minister. Anyway, we know he's a cadre. So my condolences to the families again, and also I pray that the family of Daev find it in their heart to settle down and just find peace. As my conclusion, I would like to leave you with a tweet. This is a tweet by Daev, which he retweeted, where somebody said, we need to educate people that Michael Sata is no longer the leader of PF, especially in the villages. Otherwise, they'll keep on voting and voting because they may not be aware. And he retweeted that. And for me, you could see that he was not in support of this government. And he, as a young person who's seen how talent was not supported by the government, it's not really supported by the current government, I'm sure he just felt we needed a change. We needed somebody who was different. So yes, in as much as PF might feel that they've rendered their support to this young man, and for me, I just feel there's a bit of hypocrisy, a lot of hypocrisy actually, by rendering support when he's dead. And it's sad. It's really, really sad. And then there's another tweet where Daev just talked about how tomorrow is not guaranteed. And then another one where he talked about how people gather at funerals and they call it pando. People just want to go there and eat. And for me, it's like his last days, he kind of like felt death coming. I don't know why people who are almost dying, how they feel. And he even posted in August as well to say, what's your legacy? Share your legacy. And for him, he's left a genuine legacy of a good artist. Unfortunately, death, which is so cruel, took him early. Take care. Thanks for watching my YouTube channel. It's a girl in times, also known as Gelawapazed. See you on my next video. I love you guys.